Just 4 years after launching the original X4 comes this, the all-new second generation model with enhanced coupe styling that seems to be all the rage now. And I'm sure you'll agree, it's decidedly more attractive than BMW's first attempt, but you be the judge of that. And as you might have guessed, it's based on the same platform as the current X3, but the new X4 is lower and wider and, more importantly, gets specific chassis tuning that makes it far more fun to pilot too. It's not an easy thing to do, to turn a practical SUV into something that looks more like a coupe. It comes down to that aggressive front-end treatment and tapered roofline that's actually a double bubble design originally made famous by that Italian styling house, Zagato. Where I think this thing earns real points is with its rear styling treatment. Putting a sloping coupe roofline on what is, after all, a family hauler is a polarising concept. But I think the new X4 largely pulls it off. And I don't mind the carbon black paint job either. The X4 range starts with the 20i and 20D, but here we have the more powerful 30i, which starts from 83,900 plus on roads. Now, while it gets the same 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol as the 20i, here it's been tuned to deliver a very healthy 185 kilowatts and 350 newton meters. Now, that'll get you from standstill to 100 k's an hour in just 6.3 seconds. Now, all X4s get the M Sport package as standard, as well as adaptive suspension, both of which are cost options on its more sedate X3 sibling. Inside, it's all still very familiar, which is why we like BMW's take on the centre stack. There's a clarity to the design, and yet it looks and feels 100% premium, with quality materials used throughout. This 10.25-inch touchscreen is part of BMW's professional nav system and is standard. It's also crystal clear and very easy to use for first-time users, but then that's iDrive for you. There's also a larger head-up display and BMW's semi-autonomous functionality from the 5 Series. Well, that's in the X4 as well. And I particularly like the wireless phone charging too. It gets rid of all those messy cables. And lastly, you've got to love the BMW M steering wheel. Beautifully crafted and great feeling in the hands. The fully digital instrument display is especially tasty, all 12.3 inches of it. And to reduce information clutter for the driver, both the tacho and the speedo only partially light up, with those numbers relevant to real-time speed. Now, something that BMW always seem to get right is seat design. Now, you don't sink into them like you would in a Lexus, but they do offer brilliant support and comfort, especially on those long hauls. In the back, there's a real feeling of space. That's the extra width. And despite that sloping roofline, headroom is excellent. And you'll also love the interior lighting design here. It looks and feels special, and it's everywhere. Now, while it might be the sportier SUV in BMW's X Series lineup, there's no shortage of space back there, with over 525 litres available behind the rear seats. Fold them flat and that opens up to 1,430 litres, but that's still over 100 short of its X3 sibling. But quite honestly, it's been more than enough for our family of 4. Now, you'll like this. The floor actually opens up to reveal more space, and it's held up by its own strut. Wonderfully easy, not to mention the fast-moving power tailgate, which I think is twice as fast as some. Now, where BMW has always shone brightest with their SUVs is just how car-like they are to drive. Well, it gets even better with this new X4, especially in this guise with those adaptive dampers and these larger 20-inch wheels that provide a bigger footprint. Though even in comfort, the ride isn't quite supple enough in my opinion. Instead, it's taut and tuned for what is simply excellent body control. I can't help think that 19s would offer the best balance between ride and handling though. I also find the latest iteration of BMW's variable sport steering to be a big step forward, with sharp response, good weighting and decent feedback so that you know what those front wheels are doing. And let's not forget the all-wheel drive system. It's very proactive in that you can feel it shifting torque to the wheel that can use it best, though it all feels entirely natural to me. Now, what to make of this small displacement turbo 4-pot? Well, leave it in comfort mode for everyday driving, only switching to sport when you need to make a quick red light getaway. And it does get up and go with oodles of mid-range punch to take care of those high-speed overtakes. But there's absolutely no noise, none of that delicious 4-pot snarl we might have expected from a sporty SUV like this. In fact, it's all very insulated and quiet inside this cabin. Perhaps people like that. Overall, the new X4 is a wonderfully versatile package inside and out. There's a ton of standard equipment, and that engine marries oh so well with its 8-speed auto for what is a thoroughly engaging drive. For a 4-pot, it's also amazingly refined. You can barely hear it ticking over, and even at low speeds. And when you want to give it the beans, it never really feels overworked. It's just amazing to me how far the industry has come with 4-cylinder engines and how much potential they can deliver. There's no doubt that the new X4 is a vastly improved thing over its predecessor. In fact, I'd go one better than that and say it's probably the closest thing to a BMW sedan experience yet from an SUV. I only wish the comfort setting provided a more compliant ride, and we'd kill for a decent engine note.